Alright, this video is dedicated to Doll from Sandbox 10 and the ASMR videos of her own. Y'all should check that out. Maybe I'm biased, but I think they're great. Anyway, this is her request. So this is dedicated to her. And I'll tell her the tale of the little girl in white in Maustown. Which here, for you get an idea, these are the houses. That one right there, that would be Grandpa's. You know, hey, soak it in. Pick up the vibe, you tell me. Then there is my childhood house, my parents' house, right next door. There, here, I'll give you another shot of them. A little bit closer. Childhood house, Grandpa's house. Anyway, one day, a bunch of us kids sitting around, I can't remember who all it was, cousins, brothers, friends, neighbors. That part is not clear to me. But we were all sitting around in Grandpa's house. I have no idea where all the parents was or the grandparents because I don't seem to remember them at all. But once again, oops. Oh, this is harder to do in a mirror. Once again, we sat around the kitchen table, having, as a matter of fact, cookies and milk. Everybody remember the mama's cookies? The shortbread cookies? Oh man, those were so good in milk. They only lasted a second in milk, so you had to eat them quick. But as we sitting all around here acting silly, being kids, probably talking about farts and boogers and spitting food at each other, I know we were assholes. The wind blew the front kitchen door open. And this gust of wind come through. And with it came this figure in white that come around and went around that corner and headed to the back bedroom. Back bedroom. And all us kids was, we acted fast. But there was that moment of, what the fuck was that? So, one of us, all of us, we decided we're going to go and chase this thing. So we chase it around the corner. And I don't remember if we were seeing it or hearing it, but I remember we were chasing something. And it went around through here and it went past that little crazy closet. Sorry for the shaking. And up the stairs. This is upstairs of my grandpa's. It's got the A ceiling, so the point of the ceiling could be 8 foot, but the sides were probably 4 foot tall. And then behind those 4 foot walls, there were little access points to get to the outer edge of the rafters where the insulation and stuff was. Well, in those, as you come up the stairs, there's one that you immediately kind of face. Now, it's boxed in, but there's a door, a little 4 foot tall door. You open it up, and you're just looking in a box. I'm pretty sure it was a storage space for whoever lived up there. Now, in the front room, however, there was two little doors on each side. Little 4-foot doors that led into these crawl spaces behind the wall. Well, this thing ran up the stairs and in to that door, that little crawl space. Now, we had all been in there as kids from time to time, acting silly, and well, basically we weren't supposed to be back in there, so that's where we went. Excuse the snuffing. Well, now we hit a dilemma, because nobody wanted to open that little door and go back in that dark hole and see where she went from there. And we debated around about this for a while, and nobody would do it. I wouldn't even do it. But we had an old overhead projector up there. So we decided, thank God for the Scooby-Doo ingenuity we had, we decided to drag that over and set it in the doorway of that little door. And at that point, I had the balls to crawl in it. And that's exactly what I did. I crawled back in there, and I remember being in that old rock wool insulation, and it all black and how hot it was, and that projector right there next to me in that little cubby hole. It must have been 100 degrees in there. But I bravely stuck my head in there, and I look. You can see easier immediately to your right, because that's the longer space. I looked out there and I don't see nothing but rafters and insulation and the little access point to the other room's interior attic. Now I look to the left and you can see an air vent, but immediately on the other side of the box opening, I look back and I saw what I thought at the time was a white wedding dress. And I don't remember seeing any face or movement. It just looked like a white wedding dress hanging on the wall. And it scared the hell out of me. For some reason, it just had this shockwave effect. And I come up out of that hole. And everybody started running, screaming and hollering, and we all ran out. Now, we told the adults about this and took them back up there later, and there was no dress whatsoever in there. And probably to this day, my mom and them and grandpa and them probably thinks I was lying. We were all just telling them shit. But I saw that. I was the only one that saw it in the wall. The people sitting around with me seen it go by and go up the stairs and around. But I went in the wall and I saw it. Now here's the funny thing. Years later, because I always obsess about this stuff, I'm rolling this around in my head and rolling it around in my head and trying to make a connection. Because for a long time I thought maybe that was the lady in white that my brother had seen crawl across the floor. And I couldn't understand why his was an old lady and mine seemed to be so young and, very graceful, her movements and running was. And it dawned on me that when I looked around that wall, I was looking at the interior wall of that room, and they're only 4 foot high. So that meant that dress I saw was 4 foot tall, like a child's, and it was definitely a girl's, and I've later looked it up online, and the best I could find is the late 1800s style dress. So there's the little doll and the little girl in the attic story. Hope you like it, doll. Peace out, people.